Good morning. Today we're sitting down with Sharon Argo, and she's the executive assistant at Makena Capital Management. Good morning.
Good morning.
And so talk to me a little about what Makena Capital Management is, and you, in a little research, they're out of California, Menlo Park, California, but you live here in Central Virginia, so talk to me about...
Take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. I work for Makena Capital, and it's an investment firm in San Francisco, actually Menlo Park. And my way of getting there was I was an executive assistant for Larry Cochard at Uvimco, UVA's investment management company, and they only manage basically UVA.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked together for many years there. And then when he had the opportunity to be the CIO at Makena, he asked me to go with him. So I did, and it was a big step because in my head I was going to retire from Uvimco. But I'm really glad I did it. It was super easy for him to transition. It was super easy for me. And now we both work from here. That was part of the deal, was we can work for you, but neither one of us want to move. So he travels all the time anyway, so it was not a huge stretch for him. But I went from a, office with tons of people to just me.
Just you. So do you work out of your house? Do you have to go to an office?
We have an office now. It's just simply, it's not like there's no shingle outside of it. It's just a place for us both to work. But since COVID, I do work from home a lot more. And I'm incredibly lucky because he travels, he's super flexible. We just kind of roll with the flow. It's super easy.
And how long have you been, I guess, with McKenna and then before at Invesco? How long has that relationship been?
He joined, I guess we were together like 7 years while we were at Uvimco. I worked there before he did, and our CEO then left, and he sort of inherited me.
Okay.
And it was great. It worked out great.
So what was your background prior to that?
Prior to that, I was in banking. Right out of high school, I went to work with a temporary service, Kelly Services, which is still existing today. Highly recommended for people. That was like 1982, and I worked for a savings and loan. And then that savings and loan got bought out by AmSouth Bank, and then over the decades that I worked there, they got bought out by Regions, and that's who I worked for right before I left. And that was all in Pensacola, Florida.
Is that where you were born and raised, in Pensacola?
No, raised mostly, yes. I was
Okay.
born in Tennessee, but we moved to Pensacola when I was in the 6th grade.
Okay. Where in Tennessee?
Pretty much like the small towns, but a couple of big towns, Memphis.
Okay.
Between Memphis and Nashville, I still have family in both of those, and we lived in between.
Okay.
So we moved here. My dad was retired military, and so we moved a lot even after he retired because it was in his blood. So we used to joke that he came down to visit his sister in Pensacola, and then we just didn't go.
Just stayed?
Yeah, we just stayed, bought a house. So I lived there and went to high school there. And
Okay. So what got you from Pensacola to Central Virginia?
a man.
Scourge of the earth.
Girl, okay. Yeah. Jerry Creighton, and we dated long distance for many, many years. He lived in Georgia, and I lived in Pensacola. And
Wait a minute.
wait.
Georgia, Pensacola. Okay, but Virginia. Hold on now. We keep going further north.
I know. He ended up taking a job with the Department of Forestry.
Okay.
So he works for the Virginia Department of Forestry, heads up their research, and it was one of those things where 8 hours is already tough enough. And that was 4 years of going back and forth.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, take me. I'm coming anyway. Yeah, so we came here in like 2005, I think.
Okay.
Ish.
So you've been together about 20 years
Mm-hmm.
or so.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So in growing up and moving as you did, what was something that you used? You were a reader? Were you artistic? What were your hobbies? What were your interests as you could move around So
Yeah.
frequently, it's got to be something without people, I would assume.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm the youngest of 7, so there's never a dull moment in the house. So you just sort of, anything you could do for fun, you just kind of did. So love to read, that sort of thing. My mother was very artistic. Taught herself how to play piano, could paint, could sew, could just do all sorts of things. And I just think I inherited the desire to do that.
Okay.
And just had done it on and off for years for different things. And then it wasn't until about 5 or 6 years ago that I just took a plunge and set up an Etsy site and just thought, what the hell, I'll just...
What do you major in's not the right word, but what's the primary thing that you enjoy with? Is it clay? Is it painting? Is it, I don't know, balsa wood construction? I don't know.
Yes, all of that.
All
All
of
of the above.
Okay.
I will try anything. I love doing a bunch of different things. Painting, clay, different types of clay, air dried, polymer that you have to bake, acrylics.
Like color forms when I was a kid?
No.
Bake.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I do a little bit of everything. The thing I kind of do, I seem to do the most of is I do pen and ink.
Mm-hmm.
Pen and ink, sometimes with watercolor. And I like to get really, really detailed.
Okay.
And I use a magnifying glass, so I get really tiny. I kind of have this idea that when someone sees something on the wall, that, for example, it's just got a lot of tiny writing, but you walk up closer and you get to know more about what that is.
You want them to get pulled in.
I want them to get pulled in, so I like it to be colorful and different, and so the closer you get, the more you can see.
Are you hiding insults in there in any way?
I could. I mean, I haven't yet. Hold on, I gotta make a note. But close. And so I've done a bunch of those, and that's sort of grown to where I started doing cities. So I would try and investigate what was going on in a city and like what is the city known for, and then talk to people that have been or lived in that city or raised in that city, and get things that only people that are locals would really recognize, like that restaurant that was there for 30 years that burned down, that kind of thing. So I started doing those, and that turned out to be super fun.
What's been your favorite city so far?
Actually Pensacola.
Has it?
Yeah, I did Pensacola. Actually, that's how I got started, is one night I was just sort of like, oh, I miss Pensacola. And I did a little doodle, and I just wrote a bunch of, like, all my favorite places. And I just did it in words. And then I got the idea that I was going to draw, like, the bridge that goes to the beach that I used to always go to, and just little things like that.
Sure.
And I just started drawing and drawing and drawing. And now I'm happy because I actually sell that print in Pensacola in a shop for people that, tourists or people that have lived there, and I personalize them.
Okay, so it's not a one-off that's been printed, or
it is.
There are one-offs and they're not.
Right, so it's
prints,
original drawing, original design, I guess is what you say, and then I did prints, and then as I do them, I always leave room so that I can personalize them, so that it really is an original piece for whoever buys it if they want it. And I've done everything from people that in Pensacola that are retiring from the Blue Angels, the flight crew. So I draw, their flight numbers or their retirement dates or whatever, that kind of thing. So I've done some for Pensacola. I've done some for Nashville, places where people have asked me. I haven't broadened out.
Well, that was my next question. Are you purposely going on vacation to cities to research?
I would love to do that for a living, yes. But right now I do it just for the cities when someone asks me to. I've done Gainesville, I've done Tallahassee.
Florida or Georgia?
Florida.
Because Georgia would be tough.
Tell me. Tell me. So I haven't done any. I'm working right now on one for San Francisco because that's where my company is, and I thought that would be fun. And then I got the idea to do the same thing, but for people. Mm-hmm. So I had a woman, one of my favorite pieces that wasn't a city, was a woman emailed me one day, and she's like, I want to get something for my husband. I saw that. I have no idea what I want, but I just wanted to pick your brain. So we started talking, and for like 6 months, she and I emailed, and she would pick his brain. Like, everything he ever did in high school. Like, did he skateboard? Where did he live? Who were his friends? What were his hobbies? And she just was trying to find a gift that was really like personal and I hear you, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So I did all this research. I found the house that he grew up in, which was just a plain old, nothing fancy or anything. But the school where he went, there were articles about the school at the time. Obviously, you can tell this is a long time ago because they had a school bus and a tractor, I think, or a fire truck. Maybe it was a fire truck. That was decommissioned, and it was like sitting on the playgrounds because the kids could crawl all over it. I mean, just talking about,
Yeah, you can't do that now.
You can't do that now. But I found articles about it, so I drew those. I added his hobbies, his skateboarding and palm trees, and just did an entire thing all about him. And she gave that to him as a Christmas gift, and he cried. I'm like, yes.
So, have you done like 6 for Jerry, just as you maneuver through your time?
No. Jerry says that when he sees me drawing, he said it's like in the movie The Beautiful Mind where the guy writes all over the walls, and it scares me. I can't. I don't know how you do it. So
had you, and you indicated you've been with Jerry, have you ever been married? Do you have any children?
No children that I know about.
Well, good to know.
Yeah, no children. I'm a great aunt of many in my family, so I get all the fun, but no college or,
About the
I don't have
cost.
to put out the bail money or anything. I've been married before, and yeah.
Fair enough.
No, yeah.
Fair enough. So where can folks go and get, and is it through Etsy only to look at your artwork, or do you have it at a gallery here in Charlottesville or Scottsville? I know there's the gallery down in Scottsville.
Not in Scottsville yet. So over time, I do have stuff in Etsy, and I've also started a page with Redbubble, which is for people that don't know. It's
like TeePublic kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like Etsy meets Shutterfly. Like if you want your grandma's picture on a coffee mug, but except Redbubble will put it on a shower curtain, which is you don't want grandma on the shower curtain, but
no.
I'm just saying. But what I finally did was my first step when I decided to do this many years ago, when I did the Etsy shop, was I went on GoDaddy and got Argo Designs, ARGODZINES, and got the domain. And I thought that's going to be my anchor. I'm just going to jump on in. So all these years up until recently, I just had it direct to Etsy because that's all I really had. And so I just recently launched my regular web page with that, and it really just redirects people to Redbubble or Etsy. And I'm just using it like a place to dump pictures of things I've done, work I've done, things I'm working on. I know I can speak for other artists and other small businesses that often you only have so much time. And so you have life, you have family, you've got your day job probably.
Which was a question I was going to ask, honestly.
And so I either in my spare time have time to play and do art or maintain this side gig. And that usually is the very last thing that gets done. So the website, keeping pictures of anything I make, taking good pictures. It's just hard. It's hard to keep up. So yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. So, what I would, no, I don't have a real good segue here. So we're gonna just try and work it out together.
Just do it.
Just vamp, baby.
Just get it.
Let's talk. So obviously the art is a hobby of yours, but what kind of music or books do you read, listen to that has helped you with your art or helped guide you in art? Because it's all intertwined.
Very much. Very much.
If you tell me it's the Who all the time, and and then I get an idea. Or if you're telling me it's Miles Davis, all right, I get something over here.
Both. Yeah, I do love. It's very common for me to crank up the tunes and paint or draw or whatever on a weekend. I tend to hit like it's all over the map. I'll listen to the Beatles or I'll listen to nothing but 70s music or
Like singers and songwriters?
yeah, just
You and my wife will get along
yeah,
swimmingly.
yeah. I know all the words to all those songs, and it's just fun to kind of let. I feel like when I've got something like that in the background, I'm at the same moment that I'm drawing. It's not distracting. I find it like I'm actually able to sing, and then I feel like my drawing just kind of does its own thing. I'm not overthinking the drawing or the painting.
Does the drawing ever reflect the place where the song takes you? So, I mean, for everyone, songs take them to a place in time. When you first heard it, when you first remember, whatever it was.
Right.
Does that come through your drawing in any way, or is it independent? It's just...
No, I think sometimes it does. When I draw things that have any sort of personalization, for example, or I'm writing out a word art drawing, a saying. One thing I try to be conscious of is that I don't violate any copyright rules or whatever. So I tell people when I do write something, I make sure it's mine, or it's something that came from a conversation with my friends. And it might sound very, like something you'd see on Pinterest or a common saying, but it's definitely mine. That way I don't have to worry about asking for permission later or forgiveness.
Forgiveness is way easier.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. What? I did not know that. I did not know Mark Twain did that. Not Mark. I tell you what, I knew. So the music, sometimes the mood, the sentiment behind the song. I love, a quirky thing I like to do is figure out when songwriters write the lyrics, is it true? How much of it was inspired by something true? So I love hearing interviews with artists that will say, yeah, that was my sister actually, or this was inspired because of blank. And then sometimes you find out it's just made up.
It's all lies.
Yeah.
It's all lies.
They were all sitting there with their drinks and just made it all up, which is fine because, it hits home.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Tell folks again how they can get to your website and to your Etsy, because I don't know how to do Etsy at all.
What?
Yeah.
All right, so www.argodesigns, so it's ARGODZINES.com, and from there you can route to my Etsy shop, which has very little in it right now, or Redbubble, which just has what I've drawn, and then you get to choose what you want it printed on. And then it's got my contact information, and I love doing personal stuff. I love doing anything that's artsy.
Birthdays, anniversaries, they're all coming up.
Absolutely. I've got it all. I got everything. There's just a lot going on.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much, Sharon.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.